Morning, y'all. Back on the case of this 25 Royal 10. I've had some interesting issue here with her getting hung up towards the end. So I've been kind of playing with the mainspring adjustment. And then I've added a little bit of oil. Sorry I didn't get you all in on this, but I'm keen to get this machine finished because it's mine. I'd like to type some shit on it. And then I've got machines in queue that I want to get working on, so I need my workbench and my cups here for parts. I'm hesitant to add a little any more spring tension to this because the spring's over 100 years old. Before I do any more spring tension, I want to get the platen back on her because it adds weight to this carriage. It'll be a little bit more of a realistic adjustment. But much like her key, some of this is going to be just wearing the oil into her. Or working the oil into her. And I like this liquid bearing synthetic oil. It's good, lightweight. I like the viscosity of it. And I really love the you know, it looks like it's exactly a hypodermic syringe, and long, but it's flat, of course. Makes it easy to get into stuff. And try to think of how long that's been since this machine has had any oil added to it. And I like this little flashlight that I got on Amazon for 12 bucks. It's super bright. And it stays on until you put it back into its magnetic charger, which is USB. So I just keep it here on my workbench. And then, I pop it out. Get a super bright light. And, it's magnetic, so I can stick it to stuff like I've got metal up here on my magnifying mirror, so I'll stick it to that, or I could put it onto any part of the typewriter and use it to illuminate. And I like it a lot better than these generic ones that I've been buying with the batteries. They don't last very long, and I'll find that I set them down with the light on, forget to turn it off. And you don't notice that that light's on, so you just waste the batteries. But I need to get one of those lighted magnifying visor things. And would make it a little easier. I'm finding some gunk that I couldn't get to on these machines. Get a different view into it. Thinking of getting rid of this monitor. I don't know if you can see it behind it. I use that for working on PCs and my Raspberry Pi and stuff like that. But I've got a TV I might hang on the wall and use that as a test monitor. Throw a Roku on it so I can have shit on here while I'm working. It feels sticky on both ends. I really hate to take the carriage off unless I have to. Trying to get a look at the little pinion bearings in here. Make sure they've got enough oil. Amazing how many of these parts didn't change over the years. Just slight modifications, but it's still pretty much the same part. You know what I'm doing wrong here? I'm getting the cart ahead of the horse. It's like quite a few more pieces that I need to put on here before I even get close to putting this platen on. Slow down, but in a hurry. Yeah, remember this is my machine, so I should take my time with it and enjoy it. Actually, let's get that clean before I put it back in there. Rollers definitely grab paper better when they're clean. And I've sanded rollers, the rubber on them before, to make them smooth, to get impressions out of them. Because it's really just a thick rubber, sheet or layer that's been put on these things. So I've sanded these before. I've sanded the platens before. You can see like the little striations that are in here from years and years of typing. This one's really not bad. Usually you get a lot of impressions from the letters and numbers and stuff in there built up. Yeah, here you can go. You can see some. Like a bunch of S's, 5s, maybe S's. I'm not going to sand it. I like it this way. It's not bad. So I'm going to probably just wipe it down, put it back in. I don't know about y'all, but when I see a 100-year-old typewriter, I'm not looking for it to look brand new again. I want it to work well, look clean, and perform the way it's intended to. I want, to me, that age, that wear on it, it's beautiful. But I'm a geek about machines, so I look at the world differently probably than some people that would want to have this machine on a shelf. in pristine condition with, you know, brand new badging. It's all nice and new, and that's not me. I like machines that look like they're their age, that look like they've been used. Especially in a world of, you know, our disposable crappy shit that we make that doesn't last very long. Well, my dad always used to joke about pre-programmed obsolescence, where they've designed it to fail after a certain time, or they know exactly when the failure point is, and they're expecting you to go out and buy a new one at that point. I very seriously doubt you would find a machine nowadays, like a typewriter, that would last 100 years. That goes the other way. Pay attention how this came out. This roller's a little worrying. It's got a little bit of funk coming off of it with the alcohol. It's like deteriorating, but it's still mostly round. We'll see how it performs when I get it put back together. Because I'm not sure my one from 1942 that I have for parts even has that particular roller on it. It's something that changed. No. Whoever took the platen off that machine took that roller that got lost in shipping. Bummer. It always pains my heart to take a machine and take parts off of it, rob parts off of it, and know that it'll never go back into service again. So I try to find machines that are really rusty, that are just not able to go back into service. Or in this case, one that somebody else has already robbed parts off of that I can still get good parts from. I love this glue, Gorilla Clear Grip. Before Gorilla started making this, I used to use something called Quick Grab. It's the same shit, pretty much. But I just like how viscous it is, sticky, it holds shit pretty quickly. I mean, not permanently, but it'll keep it in place until it dries. feel like I should let that glue dry before I put this back in there. It'll probably be okay since this piece lines up against it. Problem is I took this machine apart back in December, so remembering exactly how it came apart, it's a bit of a challenge right now. What I should disassemble. I think I need to put that vibrator back together before I go this far. And also allow that glue time to dry before I bump it out of place. I'm gonna grab some more coffee though. Cheers, yo. Now when I'm cleaning these, you see with all this flecked paint, I try to be careful, but you've got to get enough of it to get in here to get most of this old oil, grease, and then the ink off from the ribbons, but not enough to damage that paint. So sometimes you end up leaving some stuff on there that looks funky, but you gotta find balance to not destroy the paint any worse. And alcohol's a pretty mild solvent for the most part, but it will start eating into the paint if you let it. But to me, a little bit of funk on there, as long as it doesn't look all gross and like nobody's ever touched it, it kind of adds to its character a bit. part of the beauty of these machines. Been saying a lot lately that I'd love to just leave tech and spend all day working on typewriters. But I also like working on telephones. I've got an old 1935 Fat Boy telephone. Okay, this cord's all routed, but over here. I'm thinking about getting an analog converter there for that telephone where I could use it. This thing fought me pretty hard getting it out of there. I'm going to try not to crank the screws down as tight as they were originally. Get ahead of myself in a hurry. So I'm listening to my 80s list. If you follow my channel, it'd be easy to find that in my playlists. Colleen's Ultimate 80s list. It's got like 600 songs on it now. But I got Electric Avenue going. Let's see, who's that? Eddie Grant. It's all the shit that I remember listening to in the 80s in the car and all the music videos I remember watching. And as they say, everybody's nostalgia about the era that they grew up in. Nostalgic about the era. I was thinking about my videos, and I'm not looking to get a whole bunch of viewers or become fucking internet famous or anything again, by any means. You know what? I should have cleaned that motherfucker before I put that on there. And you see these, like, the influencers or whatever that do these videos and they edit them. You know, and I'm not, you get the raw shit here, man. Like it or not. For one, video editing is not my forte, it's not my specialty. Who has fucking time for that? You know, I guess I could be talked into it, I guess, if somebody was like, hey, I'll edit your shit for you. But I just don't have the fucking time. I got a full-time job. And a hobby here. But any of you guys who want to edit my videos, send me a message. I'm happy to send them to you before I post them. And these vibrators really get a lot of gunk built up on them. I don't even know if I didn't have a full-time job, if I'd want to spend the time editing fucking video, to be honest. It's just not that interesting to me. If I had more time, I'd spend it working on machinery. Or hiking. There's little splits in the corners of this, but it looks like that's by design. I guess it could be from fatigue over the years, because this one on the left is a little higher than the one in the corner on the right. But you can see this machine's been used, man. It's like the ribbon is actually cut into the bottom of this thing. Maybe that's what that is on the top, is the ribbon's cutting into it. Wow. Somebody used the fuck out of this machine, man. Miles of ribbon have gone through there and actually worn that steel down. I don't know if you can even see it or not. Right in here. The corners. First saw it, I thought it was a split. But they're different depths and not exactly in the exact same position either. And then you see them slightly different depths and slightly different positions on the bottom. Wow, that is wear. Serious wear. Sorry, every time I move my mirror here, that's what I have my camera mounted on. Every time I move it, it readjusts your view. Sometimes there's shims behind these things. This one doesn't have any. Oh, that's not the right screw. That's the problem with spending so much time between teardown and reassembly. But on the other ones, I've got my cups numbered, and I usually do everything in order because they fit along the back. This typewriter is quite a bit bigger than the portables I've been doing, so. I moved the cups to the side and didn't really pay attention to the numbering, like a fool. But, you know, that's kind of how I learned. I never really had any training coming up in the 80s as a kid, tearing shit apart. And I've said before that I was like 12 or so, which would have been 86, I think. Yeah, about 1986. When I was able to like work through in my mind how to put things back together instead of just taking them apart. And I feel like that's actually when I became an engineer. Although you wouldn't have convinced me of that until I actually got a degree. I was convinced that an engineer had to have a degree. I think I've talked about that on previous videos, how I felt like a phony. When Mr. Simon would call me his engineer, I'd go in to fix his problems, and he'd be on the phone. He's like, "I gotta let you go, my engineer's here." And I just felt like a phony. Because I didn't have a degree. No kinds of motherfucking experience, but no degree. And, just dropped that motherfucking screwdriver in there. But I didn't realize that you didn't really have to have a degree to be an engineer, and I had been one all along. So now my view is that I've been one since the 80s, 1986 probably. And I could figure out how to put shit back together. There you are, baby. How to put shit back together without no instructions. And I've had absolutely no training on any of this stuff. It's just I using my experience of tearing shit apart over the years. Motherfucker, I dropped them both in there. Back those screws out so much they fell out. These little screws have caused me some bit of trouble. put the screws through it. Some bit of trouble. Some bit of trouble. Oh yeah, there you go, girly. You need some oil and some love. Okay. I think I put those rolls on before I put them on. Use the screws for that. Yes, they are. Let's try this bit again. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but these typewriters all have a unique, distinct smell. It's hard to describe. It's almost like an attic, old paper, old chemicals, dust, but like the combined age and makeup of the machine make for a unique smell that they all seem to share. You know, the ones that were stored in an attic or a garage have more of that attic or garage smell to them, of course, but they all still have that aroma. It's unique. It's not unpleasant. It's growing on me over the years. Just taking that whole strip off and glued it. There's a center spot that needs it. But I can imagine having a whole shop full of old typewriters that, you know, it would be quite evident, that odor. Probably to anyone that came in. Yeah, I was there trying to put that platen on way before I had any of this shit ready to go. It tells you how eager I am to get this machine back up and running. I'm just feeling the pressure from all the other machines that are stacking up on me now. Problem with these little red shop rags is they leave little red lint everywhere. But I just can't give them up. I've been using them for so many years. Nostalgia, man. Gets me every time. Alright, babe, let's try this again. This job is a little easier. This thing's not exactly true either. Oh no, not at all. It's got a bad bend down there on the end. Try to take it out without fucking it up. I don't know if you can see that. How untrue it is on that end. I can't fuck this up because I don't have one of the replacement pieces for it. Let's see. Yeah, I treated it up a little bit in the vise. No motherfucking wonder that thing is hard to get in there. I mentioned before, this is not a kids channel, so strong language, parental guidance, strong language, adult topics. Oh baby, you know you want to go in there. That untrue bit is getting me. Mom. Yeah. Damn, I should have cleaned that up. Yeah, that's much better. Good, really. I go through a lot of alcohol in these machines. Find it gets the funk off. It's not corrosive, so I mean it's only 9% water. Inactive ingredient water, yeah. So, you know, it's less corrosive on these things. And like I said, it's a mild solvent, so it doesn't really fuck the plastic up if you're quick with the cleaning. But it will tear up this gilding that they have on there. So I try to be very gentle with that, and any of these like stickers, badging that they put on it. Any of the logos, badges, logos, any of the plastic bits, like the key faces, stuff like that. You can want to be quick with the cleaning of it, so as not to damage it. But you do have to have some bit of solvent in there to get in there and get that funk off, man. I mean, water itself is a solvent, so you could soak shit overnight in water, warm water with soap, that'd be good, but then you add to the corrosion. Where's the flat spots? Okay, so one of these flat spots is flat, and the other one has a hole in it. You can see the difference between these screws. The longer one is made to go into the shaft of the typewriter, and then the flat one is made to just make contact with that flat spot. Now these screws I've had trouble with, and you can see this one's got quite a bit of wear. Somebody's gone to town with it on a screwdriver in the past. I don't know if maybe they pulled this bit off and serviced it, or it got loose and they tightened it. But the way they're machined, it's just a threaded screw that they've just kind of sawn. So I try to use a bigger screw to make more contact with the faces, and it's less likely to split these bits out and cam out and chip the screw up like that. But no matter what, you take a chance with these old screws, and I've had to drill them out before, where the this face splits, and then half of it's gone, so you have no face to turn against anymore. So I also try to be a little gentle with these. There's no reason to crank them down really hard, at least the ones that go into the shaft, into that hole. You just want to keep them in place. The flat one's a little bit of a different story, because you do want a little bit of pressure on there, friction, to keep that flat spot lined up and in place. And I've thought about putting Loctite on these, but I don't want to make that worse. It's not original to the machine. It's not how they did it back in the day, and I don't want to make someone in the future's job that much more difficult to take these things apart. It looks like I'm gonna have to find a screw for this. I try to find as original screws as I can. I don't really want to go to the hardware store and put a screw that's got like a hex head on it or something, or a Phillips head that's not to the era. So that's where the parts machines come in play. It may not be the exact screw that goes in that spot, but it'll be the same style off a similar machine. So, and they don't make these parts anymore, so sometimes you have to make compromises. So I'll have to look, because unfortunately, like I said, my 42 machine, it's full size Royal that I bought, didn't realize that somebody had taken the platen off of it when I bid on it. So it became a parts machine by default because of that. So where the fuck am I going to get a platen from? From maybe a worse machine, I guess. Still see a little bit of warp in there from when that thing had that pressure on it. I don't know if it was dropped or somebody just leaned on it forever or what, but oh well. And try not to make contact with the platen without any paper there because I don't want to leave marks on it. Yeah, baby! You just needed the weight. And some oil. So I kind of want to back some of this tension off that spring. Take a little bit more off of it and see how she performs. Because it is a 100-year-old spring, man. Doing good. So I put a turn and a half on it, a revolution and a half on that. I don't want that extra tension if I don't need it. I don't know if you remember the first issue or the first episode in the series, but when I got this machine, you couldn't even push down on these keys. None of them worked. Not a single key on this machine was working. The spacebar worked, the shift keys, and then I guess the function keys worked, but none of the letters or numbers worked. They were completely soaked in. So I've said it before. Of course, these guys don't sponsor me. I'm not getting shit out of it, but this 3-in-1 fast-acting penetrant, it's very viscous, or very not very viscous. It's very lightweight fluid, so it penetrates. And I like it better than like a PB blaster or something like that because that shit sprays everywhere, and then it also leaves like a foam, and I don't want no foam on my typewriters. I want this kind of shit to wash down through it to where I can just clean it up off my bench, wipe it out of the machine, and then go back with a good, slightly more viscous synthetic oil. And then I'll wipe that off and call it a day. I'm quite pleased with how this carriage is working out. Oh, we're gonna write some shit, girly. I'm gonna put some more wear and tear on that vibrator there. And ribbon, run some more miles of ribbon through it. I think I'm going to take some more pressure off that spring now. This mechanism seems a little stickier than I'd like. Hello, carriage. Foolish. About time for some more coffee. Sure, my coffee maker's probably turned off by now. Have you guys seen these little buckets that you can get at Ace? They're cute as fuck, man. I'm gonna put a little tree in it. I have a family member that works at Ace, so I get a little bit of a discount there. Enough to make it worth shopping there. Because otherwise I couldn't afford it. I love Ace, they're convenient as shit, and they usually have decent stuff, but they're expensive. But, you know, I guess they have to compete with these big box stores, so I'm not mad at them. And like I say, when I go in there shopping, I'm like, I'd rather give you guys this money than, you know, a local proprietor like that, franchisee, than giving it to Jeff and his mega corporation there. This mechanism is super sticky, man. I'm not pleased with that. Oil worked in, I guess. Put stuff in there, man. This, I imagine, has a little bit of solvent of some kind in there to make it penetrant. Don't see no active ingredients here. Just oil funk, man, and dust. Go, baby. Just need a little bit of love, huh? The chrome's all worn off this face here. Fucking love it. I think my freaking camera got too hot. It shut itself down. First time I've seen it do that. Try not to keep the light as bright on it, I guess. Battery's full. Still got 3 hours worth of time left on the card, so it's pretty toasty. So that's my feeling, is that it just got too hot. Well, these mechanisms are all working so much better. I want to get the dirt off of that, but I don't want to fuck that badge up because it's so cute. Just gotta take it slow. I'm not going any further than that. Starting to wear out the royal bit. I'm a sucker for a royal. I mean, I love the Remingtons and the Underwoods too, but something about the royals, man, it called to me. So now I'm just gonna try to oil every bits that I can see that move, or the bits that I can get to that move, that I haven't already gotten to. I find a little bit of oil goes a long way. I feel like I'm in the dark here, trying to protect this camera from the heat. Maybe I should put a shield on there. The camera needs a heat shield, man. There's this chunk of wood. chunk of wood here that I use when I put grommets on ribbons. Yeah, that's much better. I can see shit. I think I am going to buy one of those goofy looking lighted magnifying visors that you see on Ghostbusters and shit. There's a reason they make those things. Yeah, I'm gonna back some more of the tension off. I'm starting to feel it's unnecessary that I got her running. No reason to cause unnecessary wear on a little spring. You know, my goal when I work on a machine is to see it last just as long as it lasted before it came into my hand, so I'd love to see that this machine makes it another 100 years and outlives me. It'd be fantastic. Provided we don't destroy ourselves first. I'll try not to get too deeply into politics. I know I have ventured down that road here before, but that's not why we're here. We're here to take a break from that bullshit and live in the moment with machinery. Oh, baby. Making my heart sing. Before I forget, let's take a little bit more tension off. I feel like a fool for not going through all the paces of getting her cleaned and lubricated before I started screwing with spring tension. Foolish me. Let's hope I didn't pay for it from the premature life on the spring. Man, that fucking wax. Ah. Baby, why did they wax you? Man. The problem with putting wax on stuff is you gotta keep putting wax on stuff. I mean, I could strip it off, I guess, but then I worry about damaging the badging. Stupid wax. I'm looking forward to cleaning that glass too. Get this back to, I did get these mixed up. That side is weird than this side. X939116. We looked that up on the typewriter database. Stupid wax. You know, with silver pricing being the way it is right now, I'm thinking about taking that coin that my old work gave me with the duck on it. We shall remain henceforth unnamed. Been selling it $100 an ounce. It's 1 ounce of silver. I'll get scrap price off of it. Who wants a duck logo with a silver coin with a company's logo on it if that company pushed you out the door for complaining about the lack of the bonuses? I don't know about you, but I don't. So I think I'm going to take that up to my friendly neighborhood silver dealer and unload it. Because I could use $100. Much more than looking at a coin that kind of causes me pain. I'm really kind of upset about losing that job because I complained about the lack of bonuses. You know, the company I worked for had, what at the time, 250 stores, and they boasted about how they had 3 million subscribers. 3 million at $30 a month. So 3 million people paying $30 a month, you do that math, that's a lot of money every month. Of course they've got overhead, you know. But in those conditions, you can continue to afford to pay your employees the 25% bonuses that you promised them. Maybe that's just me. Because, you know, it's not just the people at the top that are making it all possible. I think the people at the top tend to forget that. Oh, baby, you're looking good. Even with the wax. So that's why I'm no longer at that job, because I posted in the all company chat that they were basically taking food out of my mouth. It's making me hard to pay my rent. Because I counted on those bonuses for my car insurance and car tags, optometry appointments, shit like that you couldn't afford throughout the year. You waited for the bonus that they promised you. And it's not like, hey, we're giving you bonuses this year and next year they're gone. It's just you're waiting for the bonus to come through, you're waiting for the bonus to come through, and then they're like, well, we decided to not give it to you. So to me, that's like Christmas vacation, bro. What the hell, man? But anyway, let's keep this about machinery, not assholes. Do I want to clean that glass right now? Or put the rest of this stuff on? There's really not a whole lot left to put on. So I'm going to clean the glass. Maybe I should do that very last. That way I don't get the crap all over it. Wax. Here's the rest of homegirl sheet metal. Let's see how dirty she was. And same thing here, these are like decals. So, you know, they get dirty. So you gotta try to find balance of getting the dirt off of them, but not digging into them and wearing that decal away. Because I'd rather have, you know, slightly off color. I guess, I don't want to call it badging, I guess. Stickers and the like on my machine than none. You know, I don't mind if they're gone through wear and tear over the years, but I don't want to be the one to have worn them off trying to clean them. So again, it's about finding balance. Sure, love it. It's my metal. Do not like gold. Gold is gaudy to me. It's just bleh. Do not like the color. Do not like how many people have died over it, been killed over it. It's just, yeah. Gold is the metal of oppression, in my opinion. can clean up so well, really. Right now in my ear I've got Beastie Boys, You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party. I don't know about you all, but I remember this video, it was the first time I heard this song was when the video was played on MTV. And I was like, what the fuck, man? This is some shit. And I was 4th or 5th grade or something like that, I don't remember. I think it was pre-5th grade. It must have been 4th grade. 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, somewhere around in that area. Back in the 80s. And here's a tip from me, guys. Don't wax your machines unless you want to keep waxing them. So ridiculous. I've only ever applied wax to machines that had them, and that was because the owners wanted it done. I'm like, hey, this machine's got wax on it. You want another coat? Because otherwise it's not going to look as pretty. I don't know, I guess I could probably do a little more research and see if there's a safer wax remover. Maybe lemon juice or some kind of shit. Never know. Feel free to leave the comments. I know I got that out of there. I'm going to typewriter again. I showed pictures of my typewriters torn down in bits to my kids, and my son was like, that looks like CP3O from Star Wars 1. Like, I can't not see that now. Wait a minute, did I have this bit in there first? I think I did. So these things are going to have to come back out of there. Yeah, don't let your typewriter tear down, sit for months, because then you got to remember how it all goes back together. Oh, that wax is killing me. I guess it's possible that that's why the paint lasted as long as it did. But my hands have been so itchy lately, man. Well, I wish that really meant that the money was coming my way. The only thing I like more than making money is giving it away to people. It really brings me joy helping other people out with money than buying myself fucking bullshit with it. Okay, I hope you all remember where these fucking screws came from. I think these are for the tops. And these are for the face. Oh, I see, that just pushes on it. Funky ass spring rain. Motherfucker. Let's go to the other side. Gorgeous. Stupid wax, man. These are gross looking film on everything. I'm trying to remember what this bit does. It was for. Yeah, it does go there. Oh, it's the stencil lock. I see. Yeah. I love how this one says upper and lower instead of just red and black. I guess it doesn't really matter which way, you decide, I guess. Bust up my sham, wow, man. It still has a crappy looking film on it. You're just gonna have to wax your girl. Maybe I'll do a little research before I actually apply the wax. Maybe if I can use some lemon oil or some kind of shit to get it off. Said this before, where's Biff when you need him for that third coat of wax? Not the right screw for that. Okay, the long ones go there. And the shorties go here. Oh, the shorties go there. Those are just cover screws. That's interesting. One of these days I'll read a typewriter repair manual. This long dude's gotta go through here. These, I don't want to know what to call them. It's not a panhead screw. These recess screws, you can tell usually where they go because there's actually a little recess for them to set down into. Versus a flat screw that's just going to have a flat edge for it to mate up against. So I dig that. Makes things a little easier. It looks like I'm missing a screw. I'm going to hunt for it here in a minute. That's it. My last screw. And it looks like it goes here. No, that's not right. There's a similar screw to go there, but I don't have it. I guess it's possible it's been missing. Quite possible. Very probable, I think. Let's clean some glass. I was quite pleased when I saw that this thing still had the glass in the auction. Of course, nobody mentioned anything about the keys not working, but I could see them not mentioning that in the auction there. It's like the one that didn't mention that the platen was missing off my other one there that I bought. But, you know, I buy these machines as parts machines, or typically somebody will be honest about it. I mean, like, parts are not working, untested, something to that effect. So I know, you know, kind of what I'm getting into buying it. But these machines said no such thing. I guess the fact that it didn't say anything working or tested or any of that shit, I should have expected something. But the fact that this one still had glass, it looked like it was in really good shape, you know, led me to believe that all the keys would work. But good for me that they didn't, because it sure lowered the price in the auction that I had to pay for it. Got wax on this shit too. Looks like wear on the glass. Wild, man. Beautiful. If I really wanted to clean this, I'd snap these out of these frames, but to me it's not worth the risk of breaking these little tabs off. Plus I'm not looking for ultra shine. I like that patina. I just want it to look clean. Look its age, like me. All right, baby, let's get you a ribbon. Yeah, we got to do grommets in the ribbon. Oh no, you don't have reversers, do you? Nope. So there ain't no reason to put no grommets on these ribbons. Predated auto reverse. Buy these ribbons from Buy and Large, 4 packs. It's only like 15 bucks. But the problem is the reels are plastic and they don't have the little reversing grommets at the end, you know, like about 13 centimeters from the end is where they're supposed to be. Now, I've never routed a ribbon on a machine like this before, so we're in new territory. Yeah, that's exactly what that is with ribbon wear. Fucking awesome. Foolish. Let's get you a good piece of paper, babe. By the Southworth. You can see the watermark. And typing paper. I do need to replace this roller here still. Ribbon's not going. That's gonna be a problem. That ribbon's gonna get stuck in that shit. Oh man, I bet I got these fuckers in there upside down. It runs backwards from the old machine, or the newer machine. With these newer, it was not. God damn it. There's a drive mechanism down the bottom of these old ribbon reels. Wow, dude, no wonder it's not turning. So I'm gonna have to wind a ribbon onto this reels. Dude. Talk about old school, man. Alright, I'm cool. We'll do it. Get my hands motherfucking dirty as shit. Okay, so let's do it this way. Wow, this old ribbon is actually ribbon. So much thicker than the new one. throw it out, to be honest with you. It's so old. Yep, there's drive mechanism on it. Oh man, I put it in upside down. God damn it. It's just fun for the hands. I think I won't have to do this very often. Because I can guarantee you that they don't sell these fucking ribbons like this with these reels anymore. So my only option is to rewind it. Yeah, you can see the teeth here and the drive mechanism. Wild, dude. I'm used to the newer styles where there's teeth that stick up to engage in those little circle holes. Aren't you gonna let me do this? It's the 70s and the old magnetic tape decks, man. Before I go too far, let's see if I'm writing it the right direction. No, not. Unless this one goes on that one. Let's think about this. It's going to go that way. And that one's going to drive that way. Say it's a 100-year-old ribbon, but I doubt that. I should clean these reels up now. I'm not used to reusing the reels. The life of a typewriter repair person. Okay, baby, let's see how you do now. You're learning as I'm learning here, folks. Baby, you still got way shit to say. Look at this. Lovely. Let's give you a quick clean before we let you wind up too much, because we did clean the other one. Gorgeous, man. And functional. So I had to manually wind the ribbon off of these, replacement plastic reels that I'm used to buying from Amazon onto the original metal reels on this 25 Royal, because there's a drive mechanism built into the reel itself on the bottom that engage the teeth here that are not present on all the newer machines. The newer machines engage these little holes on the bottom, and that's what drives it. So, you can see my hands are covered in ink, but man, it was worth it, because homegirl still got a lot to say. And it's something. Catch my full video in the series here for this machine, because she's done. The only thing left to do for her is wax her. Oh yeah, you do have to replace this roller still. Stand by. Here's my 1942 machine that somebody stole the platen off of. Luckily the ribbon or the rollers are still here that I can use. And this roller, these sets of rollers is in the process. So, unfortunately, this girl's become a parts machine. Ooh, and yeah, you know what? This old machine had the cam ribbons on it too. Wild. That makes me sad to turn machines into parts machine. Should I replace both of them or just one? Looks like just one. Switch you aside for a moment early. Same diameter. Shield. One of these days I'll learn to type. Well guys, that concludes our video on this 25 Royal. I'm not going to bother posting the video of me waxing it. I will post more video of it if I can find a way to get the wax off without damaging the badging. Because I'd rather have the wax on than tear these up anymore, because that's gilded. It's a gilded freaking decal that they stuck on there, so. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Keep typing. Update. I've decided to replace these worn out thrashed ass feet with the ones off this 1942 machine. They're slightly different, but definitely want to make them work. I'm gonna take out that little metal deal, swap the screws on them. Because man, the feet on this 25 machine are gone. I'll show you what they look like in comparison. This machine has definitely had some miles on it. Now it may not have been exactly like that, but pretty fucking close. You can see just how worn through it is. But pieces are like, the rubber's like decomposing. It's like breaking off. I've got like pieces of it laying on my workbench here. So thrashed. I'm gonna have to put them back on the old one though. Because it's part of the chassis to keep them in place. Funny how things work out. Like I bought this machine not knowing that the platen was missing. And, you know, fully intending to restore it. But it turns out that I needed parts. The homegirl here is sacrificing herself for the greater good. Should need that bit in there, don't I? Where's that little index? Here it is. Not sure why they put an index. I guess the index keeps it from spinning around. Makes sense. Oops. We got some new shoes. Look at those new shoes, girly. You gotta thank your sister here for coughing them up. There's no place like home. We're in there backwards. Thanks, Shirley. Homegirl is done. Stick a fork in her. Happy typing, you.